Yo, what up? Still Broke Podcast. We in the house. We about to switch gears and jump into some NBA news because obviously this trade has shook the world. You know, I think this trade came down Saturday night. The Luca trade to the Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a draft pick. And I'm still in shock about this trade because I still can't believe the Dallas Mavericks did this. Like, I still can't believe this happened. Like, I don't understand. I've been trying to look at this trade in every way you can. I'm trying to see what Nico Harrison was thinking. I'm trying to find a way to say, you know what? It makes a little bit of sense, but it makes no sense whatsoever. Allow me to get into this a little bit as far as just the thought process of Nico Harrison and what he's trying to say. He believes that because Luka doesn't play defense, defense wins championships. Let's keep in mind, they were in the finals last year, neither here nor there, I guess. Or maybe it is. That he was going to trade a top, let's just say 3 to 5, let's say 5. Some people have him at 3, some people have him at 5. But let's say a top 5 player at 25 years old. He's going to trade him, okay? Now he's going to get back another good piece, another top 15 guy, probably, 15, 20 guy. But he's 31. But he thought to himself that was going to be to get you over hump. That was going to be the move to get you over the hump. To get rid of the franchise at 25. To get another guy at 31. And that was going to be the missing piece. Okay. The reason why he did this, rumor has it, is that, Luka wasn't in shape. He came in overweight, played himself in shape. He's had injuries. So at this point in his career, at 25 years old, again, it's time to get rid of him. That's what he's thinking. So forget about the 5-time All-NBA first team. Forget about that. Forget about he's the 3rd all-time leading scorer as far as points per game in the history of the NBA. He's 3rd on the list. Forget all that. He's 2nd on the list in points per game in the playoffs. Forget all that. So forget all those things, all right? So again, 5 times first team on NBA at 25. 2nd leading scorer, points per game in the playoffs. And 3rd as far as points per game in the season. All time. So forget all that. All right. With all that, it's because he's a little out of shape and he doesn't play very good defense. We're going to get rid of him. That's about the dumbest thing I ever heard. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if Luka Doncic had a pack of Newports, hit that thing before he popped it in his mouth, smoked a few, took a couple puffs, and then checked into the game, came out of the game on breaks, had a 20-piece nugget on the chair next to him, and washed it all down with a brewski, with a nice 6-pack. I don't care if he did all of that. You do not trade him for Anthony Davis or anybody else for that matter. Luka is 25 years old. The other concern about this is the Supermax. Paying him 5 years, $345 million. Okay, so what? So he's a top 3 to 5 player in the NBA. That's what the going rate is. There is no concern over that. That's what you pay them. Boston has 2 guys that are making $300 million, and they aren't as good as Luka. They got 2. They aren't as good as Luka. That is the going rate for a superstar. And you have a top 3 player, and he's 25 years old. And your concern is that he doesn't play defense? And your concern is that he comes in a little bit overweight? He's 25. Although an adult, he's still a young man. So you're betting over the next 10 years, you cannot put a team around him, okay? And he will not mature as a player. Even being out of shape, the guy's still giving you buckets every night. He's giving you buckets every night at 25 and being out of shape. And you're betting at 25 years old that he won't mature a little bit? That over the next 10 years? Because you basically traded. Anthony Davis is 31 years old. Okay? Their next best player, Kyrie Irving, is 32. I believe he'll be 33 at the end of the year. So you got guys going into their mid-30s, and you're going to exchange that for a guy that's 25? Guy hasn't reached his prime yet? This makes 0 sense whatsoever for so many angles. So right now, the Lakers are going to get Luka. We'll talk about the Lakers angle in just a second. What we're basically saying here is that you're going to trade the right now. Like, listen, there's no guarantee you're going to win a championship with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. Meanwhile, they got the same issues that Luka does. Kyrie Irving don't play any defense. He plays no defense. He's always hurt. Always hurt. And sometimes he don't want to play. Anthony Davis, before he got with LeBron, what was his issue? Doesn't come in shape. Tries to get in shape during the season, but doesn't come in shape. That was a knock on him. Also the knock, injuries. He doesn't play all 82. He's going to be hurt. So you just traded the same issues for a guy that's 6 years older and not as good. That's all you did. That's all you did. So you got a guy, and listen, when we talk about this, we act like Anthony Davis is a bum. He's not a bum. Okay, and I hate that we're going to that because Anthony Davis is a very good player. Again, he's probably top 15, top 20 player. Most people have him in the top 15. Okay, he is a good player. He is a 25 and 12 type guy. He is capable of going nuclear. He is one of those guys, but he's not a leader. That was the reason why he went to the Lakers with LeBron. We know he's a 1B to 2A guy. His talent may be 1A, but his mentality is not. So now you get him over there with Kyrie, and what do you think it's going to be? What do you think? You want Kyrie to lead you? We saw that. We know that story. Kyrie, again, is more of a 1B guy. Skill level's 1A, but he's more of a 1B guy. Okay, so now you get that over there, and you get rid of a guy with the same problem. You got the same issues. The same issues. The only difference is that Anthony Davis can play defense. That's it. That is it. So you're hoping in this next window, which again, Kyrie Irving's going to be a free agent here pretty soon in the next year. So you got to re-sign him. Hopefully he re-signs with you. Because if he doesn't, then you know what? Now you're really, you know what? So you got to bank on that happening. You have no idea how he feels about playing with AD and getting rid of Luka. You have no idea about that. All right. So now you're gambling on two different things. And if you don't win a championship, okay, and not just one, you basically have to win enough championships to sit here and say that, you know what? If you win one and Luka wins, if he wins 2 over the next 10 years, it was a bad deal. If you won and 1 over the next 10 years, it was a bad deal. Because Luka's 25 years old. You have yourself in a 10-year window with Luka. When you have yourself in a 3 to 4 year window with the amount of injuries that Anthony Davis and Kyrie have, you have a 2 to 3 year window. Possibly. Maybe. When you had a 10-year window, you're always in the mix when Luka's there. He took a team that had no business being to the finals last year. No business. Yes, he had a bad finals. Yes, he did. But he's 25, ladies and gentlemen. He's still a young man. He's still a young player. The guy hasn't even hit his prime yet. He hasn't hit that 27 to 32 rate. He hasn't hit his prime yet. So we're banking that he's never going to get better, that he's never going to be a player, that he's never going to take you to the top. He just took you to the finals. He just took you there. So if the Mavericks don't make it to the finals this year, you're already wrong. You're already wrong. And the way that the Mavs did this, not giving the man a heads up. There's two different things here how you do business, especially when you're Luka. Because there's a lot of things that can affect this team when this happens. One is just the overall effect because Luka is the Mavericks. And that's what you're seeing from the fan base right now. Luka is the king of the city. Luka is the Mavericks. He is the city. You do not trade that guy, especially at this age. If he's 37, I get it. 32 on the back end, I get it. But not before he reaches his prime. You have a top three player before his prime, and he's the king of the city. He's everything that represents the Mavericks. He is the franchise. He is the Mavericks. You do not get rid of that guy. Because not only does that kill morale on the team, the fan base is almost out. It leaves you zero room for error. Zero room. With Luka, you have room. You cannot make it to the finals. You cannot make a long playoff run, but you still have Luka. You still have the king to the city, and everything's okay. As long as you got him, they got hope. But you just got rid of him. Now, expectations through the roof. If you don't win a championship right now, next 2 years, they don't care. They do not care. You are gone. You are gone and never to work again. I mean, this was almost so dumb. This was almost like everybody, when it happened, it was like, this can't be true. It's almost too dumb to be true. I'm like, to take a Beverly Hills Cop, the banana in the tailpipe, where is it at? It's got to be the banana in the tailpipe. It's got to be. Like, you got to be fooling me right now because there is no way in your right mind that you would do something like this. And that's the reason why they had to keep it so secret, because Nico Harrison knew if he shopped Luka, which we're going to get to this in a second. If he shopped Luka and it was out there that he was looking to trade Luka, the city would have never let that happen. The city would have never let that happen. They would have came in there and pulled Nico Harrison out of his office and threw him in the river before they let him trade Luka Doncic. There's no way it would have happened, which is why he was so cold-hearted about it. And that's why Jason Kidd didn't even know. He had no idea. But that's not how you do business, Nico. Not to a guy who's given everything to Dallas. Then you hear that he just closed on a $15 million house. So not only did you cost him as far as his new home purchase is concerned, you cost him because now he can't sign a Supermax. Now he can't sign a Supermax. So you cost him $117 million not being able to sign him to the Supermax. Then you also cost him on his home purchase. And that, not to mention, we didn't even talk about the non-state tax. We didn't add that into the equation either. Because living in California is a lot bigger deal as far as the money coming out of your pocket than it is in Texas. So we didn't even go through that. So not only did you trade a man that has given everything to your franchise, and that is the franchise, but now you took money out of his pocket. Now you did that. Now, if you didn't want to pay him, that's fine. That's fine. But you at least let him know what's going on. He's not spending access money on trying to buy a home. You at least let him know that. Because that's how you do business. That's how you do business to a guy that has given your franchise everything. Now, there has to be something that we don't know. It has to be. Because there's no way that you go there and you trade a guy like that for a guy who's not as good and who's older. You just don't do it. You have no idea. Like, so it has to be something going on. And I'm trying to look at this from every angle. Like, there has to be an angle that says, all right, this had to be done. Like, getting the piece of Anthony Davis is the clear cut takes you over the top. That's a clear cut. You are the best team in the West. It is not. It is not, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know how you do this, and I don't know how you try to slip this through. And that's why he just went to the Nico Harrison said he only touched base with the owners. And the owners, for those of you who don't know, Mark Cuban sold his majority stake of the Dallas Mavericks. So he doesn't run basketball operations anymore, which is why this happened. Because there's no way if Mark Cuban was there, this would have happened. There is zero way. Zero way. Like Mark Cuban said, if it came to getting rid of Luka or divorcing his wife, he would be at the court with the papers. See your wife, because Luka ain't going anywhere. So there's no way that if he was still running basketball operations, this would have happened. So let's go ahead and put that out there. Okay, of course, Nico didn't talk to Jason Kidd because he would have been like, hell no, that's not happening. When he called Pelinka over there with the Lakers, he's like, are you serious? Like, is this a joke? And when you have that type of reaction, you have to know to yourself, like, I'm probably a little bit off my rocker a little bit. Maybe I'm just I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much. But no, they went ahead and did it. And from the Lakers standpoint, listen, two things have happened right here with the Lakers. Okay, now you have your guy that you sit here and say, listen, we have our guy for the next 10 years. We have our superstar. Assuming that Luka's going to re-sign with the Lakers, I wouldn't think that he wouldn't re-sign with the Lakers, but anything is possible. All right. So assuming that he's going to re-sign with the Lakers, you have your guy for at least the next 10 years on your roster. Right now, your next superstar. But it also tells you this, LA, that the Lakers are out of the LeBron James business. They are done with LeBron dictating terms and Clutch Sports dictating terms. They're out of that business. They now have a guy that said, listen, we can move forward. We are no longer here for you, LeBron. You can stay as long as you want to. Have your fun. Just like I say, you invite your friends over. Hey, you stay as long as you want to. Just let me know when you leave. And that's kind of that's what they're doing with LeBron right now. Is that, listen, we got your replacement. So at this point, we are not building for you to win a championship this year before you leave. We are building for the future, and we are building around Luka Doncic. And we didn't talk to you about it. If you want to be traded, we'll help you out. We appreciate all you've done for us, but now we're in the Luka business. We are no longer in the Clutch Sports LeBron business. And that's what this trade meant for the Lakers. So for the Lakers, it not only got them off the AD contract, which they knew AD wasn't the guy. They knew that. He wasn't an alpha. He never was. And they knew that. So that's why they said, listen, he can go. But it also gave them freedom from LeBron. So now LeBron knows what time it is. And what time it is saying, listen, we are out of the LeBron business. Okay, we are out of that business. And we are moving towards the Luka business right now. So that's what they're doing with that. But again, back to this trade. I feel terrible for the Dallas Mavericks fans because they didn't deserve this. They had a once in a generation type player. Again, this guy's a scoring machine, man. Like, I get it. He's not in shape. I get it. I understand that. But again, I don't care. I do not care. This dude could literally, we could have tossed him a brewski on the bench when he's on his break. He could have went ahead and knocked it down and then got back in the game for all I care. I don't care. I don't care because that's how good he is. That's how good he is. And you do not give up talents like that. You just don't do it. You do not do it. To do what? To do what? So now, what do you have Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, who are going to be 35 and 36 in the next 5 years, who have not been, listen, these guys aren't Iron Men. These are guys that are known for their health. So they'll probably be breaking down at this point. To do what? To watch Luka continue to be competitive over the next 10? That makes no sense whatsoever. Who cares about the money? You bought the team to pay players. That's what you do. You knew when you bought the team, hey, you know, I'm going to end up paying a guy $345 million, but he is deserving of that because he is a top 3 player in the NBA. He took our team that had no business going to the finals last year. Zero business in the finals last year. And see, that's what happens sometimes when you overachieve. Sometimes people think you're better than you are, okay? The reality of the situation is the Denver Nuggets were the best team in the West last year. But they were unserious. They weren't a serious team, and they messed around and lost to Minnesota. That was the problem, and that's what happened, okay? And Dallas took advantage of that. They took advantage of that, and they got to the finals, but they were no match for the Celtics. That team didn't have any business being in the finals, but they got there, and they got there because of Luka Doncic. That's why they got there. And they weren't a bad defensive team. Now, he was bad defensively, but they weren't a bad defensive team. But you do not give that up. You do not give up 5 years of quality basketball, 5 years of high-end basketball, and a young player who, again, is at the worst top 5 in the league. At worst. Most have him top 3, but at worst top 5 in the league. That has the numbers that he has to get what? And if you're going to do it, if you're going to do this, if you're going to be this stupid and do this, okay? And I hate to call people that, but I just got to, I got to say, I got to call it like I see it. If you're going to be that dumb and do something like this, then you got to get back the King's ransom. You have to get back the King's ransom. You can't get back Anthony Davis in a bag of Doritos. You can't do that. And that's what you got. You got 1 first-round pick. You got 1. And Max Christie? That's it? Like, you didn't get the 2 first-round picks the Lakers had? Like, if you're going to do it, I understand Anthony Davis was a guy you wanted, but he ain't that dude. He ain't that good. But if you said, reportedly, they called Milwaukee. Milwaukee hung up the phone on them fools. Okay, that's what they did. Rightfully so. Okay? And you know who they called for, Giannis. Now we good. Bye. But if you're going to do it, you got to get back the King's ransom. You have to. You at least have to say to your fans, listen, we didn't want to do this. We felt this would help our team, but we got back this, and this. And I understand that you usually don't trade superstar for superstar, and there's levels to superstardom because AD's not on Luka's level as far as superstardom, but he is a really, really good basketball player. But you didn't get all the picks. You didn't get anybody else. Like, if we're going to do this, I'm going to make it worth our while because I know that you know that I only have Anthony Davis for a finite amount of time. When you have Luka for at least double the time that I'm going to have Anthony Davis. I know that. You know that. So I need more back if we're going to do this. And I'm going to open this thing up if I'm really going to trade this dude. But you know what? Again, he couldn't open it up. And he couldn't open it up because if he did, Luka's still a Dallas Maverick. Because there's no way anybody in that city would have let Nico Harrison trade Luka Doncic. And I still can't believe it happened. This may have been the dumbest GM move since Jerry Krause breaking up the Chicago Bulls. And I don't know what's worse. I really don't. Probably the Bulls because you just came off a championship. Like, they just came off the finals. And Dallas came off a finals appearance and said, listen, I'm going to trade our best player and one of the best young players in the league that's 25 years old. I'm going to get rid of him because I'm betting on he's not going to be better. He's never going to get in shape, and he won't win a championship over the next 10 years. That's what I'm betting on if you're Nico Harrison. Sound dumb? Yeah, because it is. Same thing as Jerry Krause, Chicago Bulls. I'm going to sit here and say, I have the best player in the world ever. I got a team that's won their 3rd championship. I got the best coach in basketball. But you know what? I'm going to say, you know what? We're done with you, coach. Even though you're the best coach in basketball, we're done with you. And once we're done with you, Mike is going to be done because he's done if he's done. So let me just get rid of him and break up the whole thing. Because organizations win championships, not players. That's what Jerry Krause said. And guess what? The Bulls have been rebuilding ever since. They have been rebuilding ever since. That was 1998, ladies and gentlemen. That was 1998. That was 28 years ago. They have been rebuilding. Haven't been to the final since because they broke up that team. And here we go with Nico Harrison coming off a finals appearance. And you're going to trade the best young player in basketball, the best player under 25, because he doesn't play defense and because he likes to have a six-pack and because he likes to smoke hookah or whatever the case may be. That's why you traded him, because you don't want to pay him the supermax. When I got two players in Boston making $300 million a year that aren't even close to him, are we serious? Is this real? Is this real? Because this can't be serious. It can't be. It can't be. So look, listen. This was an all-time dumb move. Dallas Mavericks aren't winning an NBA final. They're not winning a championship. They're not. I just don't see it. And even if they do, like I said, unless Luka doesn't win one over the next 10 years, it still doesn't matter. So we're 10 and 12 years away from realizing that this was a dumb trade or not. But I'm going to tell you, it was stupid. It was one of the dumbest ones. And it was so stupid that, you know what? You wagered your career on trading one of the top 5 players in the NBA. And for what? And for what, Nico? For what? You have a top 5 player in the league. You do not get rid of him. But you're going to wager your career on that. Because if this doesn't work, not only will you be fired, but you will never work in the NBA again. Because this was all-time stupid if this happens. All-time dumb. All-time dumb. But you did it. And maybe you'll have the last laugh. Maybe so. I doubt it. We'll be sitting here watching. We will sit here and watch. Because there's nobody in their right mind with everything that you said would still trade Luka Doncic. There is nobody. But you did it. You did it. So you'll live with the results. That's what it is. I feel terrible for Dallas Mavericks fans. I almost wish that we can reverse this because this was just so bad, and I feel bad for those fans. But Laker Nation, man, it's time to turn a page in your next chapter. Laker basketball is about to happen, and you're about to start the rebuild around Luka. I don't know what's gonna happen with LeBron. We'll see how this works as far as that fit. I have my reservations on that. We'll get into that on another day. But now it's a Luka time, and now you're about to start rebuilding your team around Luka Doncic. So good for you. It was a tremendous trade. You definitely won this trade. You get a guy who's 25 years old, not 31, and who is a dog, man. Who is a dog. He is that dude, man. He is a dog. Good luck. Lakers should be okay, but the Dallas Mavericks, man, Nico, man, this has been one of the worst things you've done since botching the Stephen Curry shoe deal, you know, and you guys can go read about that when he was at Nike, but this is about as bad as that was, if not even worse. So let's hope that you don't turn into Jerry Krause. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but I think that's in your future right now. And again, once it's over, as they say, you'll never work in this town again. You'll never work in this town again. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm shocked. I can't believe it. It happened. Luka, he's out. And we'll see what happens, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Still Broke Podcast. We out of here. See ya.